Smith, the Sun Prairie Chamber of Commerce Director. Cheryl Namis is on our committee. Jeff back there is with the Media Center in Sun Prairie. He's going to tape it. Is that okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just kidding.
They'll be selling copies afterwards.
It's not going to be on.
Keep it up, keep it up.
We should give answers in both sentences or something.
Yeah.
For sure now you're all getting drawn in. Smile into the camera.
So just a couple of housekeeping items. Please no cell phones during the session, just out of respect to our speaker. And the restrooms are just out that back door. There's also, like I mentioned, bubblers right back there too. For housekeeping things. Also, we've got handouts at the tables and an evaluation form. If you could take just a couple of minutes before you leave to fill out the evaluation form, and especially give us ideas for future seminars. We really want to know what our chamber members are looking for as far as educational opportunities. And we utilize our own chamber members to do presentations. So we try to make it a win-win for everybody as far as being involved in the chamber. So I'm going to introduce Ken Collins. He has 35 years of experience in the construction industry as a fire protection contractor whose purpose is protecting property and saving lives via automatic fire sprinkler systems. And has also been fortunate over the years to be provided with entrepreneurial career opportunities that have allowed him to grow professionally as well as identify, develop, and build ground-up people-first businesses. In addition to experience, Ken possesses professional certification as an independent coach, teacher, speaker with John Maxwell team, as well as fitness trainer with the International Sports Science Association. His diverse skill set fuels his passion when helping others discover personal and professional growth from a whole life standpoint and the quest for overall lifestyle satisfaction, which I think we're all trying to achieve, aren't we? Results for You is his company, and it's a career personal growth coach and business consultant partner to assist you with growing your career or business while maintaining a healthy, balanced lifestyle of satisfaction. So please welcome Ken.
Thank you, Ann. So today we're going to invest in ourselves for an hour and a half on how we maximize our time, but essentially what we're talking about is how do we get a handle around work-life balance and a lifestyle of satisfaction. I'm going to tell you this topic is extremely popular, not only with associations, but companies and HR departments and other types of associations. You know, the busyness of our days, whether it's personal, professional, community, family, I mean, I can keep adding to the list, can get pretty daunting at times. And so people are looking for the answers. So what I'm hoping to do today is to pause from all that busyness. Do you hear that? Oh, doesn't that feel good? There's the pause. And take time in the next 90 minutes to look back and reflect and sort through our own personal lives. And do an evaluation or look back on how we feel we're doing as far as it relates to the things I mentioned, and are we spending time in those areas that we really want to, and if not, how do we get there? And so I'm hopeful in this session today with this size group that it can be very intimate, very interactive, but also a working session where you can walk out of here today with a couple of ideas about how to balance your lifestyle. Before we do that, because it's going to be fairly interactive, I'd like to go around the room and introduce ourselves. Because not only is this a time to carve out to reflect and take a look at our lives, but this is a networking session. It's a Chamber of Commerce event. And so you will not only have a networking partner closer near to you, but you may be working with somebody today or this morning on sharing thoughts and ideas and brainstorming. Two heads are always better than one, especially when we can get kind of very focused and tunnel visioned on things. And so creating self-awareness of something that we weren't conscious about is also a big part of trying to sort through all the clutter. And so we'll start down here. Name, company or association, and what are you hoping to get out of today's session?
I'm Kelsey Holstein. I work at Holiday Inn Madison at the American Center as one of the sales managers, and soon to be Holiday Inn Express. and just trying to get out of today, learn how to balance life and work a little bit better.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Tanya Bannock. I work part-time for Proactive Engineering, and I'm a marketing assistant there, and it's also a new field for me. So I think what I'm trying to get out of it is I work there part-time because I'm actually retired, and I'm having a real challenge between really committing myself to that job because it has turned out to be bigger than what I expected it to be. And I'm feeling some resentment from the retired me that thinks I should be allowed to be free.
All right, very good. Thank you.
I'm Tim Munzenberger. I work for Allstate Insurance. We're a fairly new office, so I'm hoping to gain a little bit of productivity in that and some free time so I can spend some more opportunities at home or doing other things.
I'm Chris Franks with Buck and Honey's Restaurant, and I'm, yeah, like everybody else, just hoping to better manage my time and have more time with my family.
You involved with the Pat Tillman run? Ooh, maybe we can plug you later, huh?
Great.
All right. I'm going to be there.
I'm Kayla Retzloff. I'm from the Comfort Inn and Suites Madison Airport. I'm their outside sales manager there, and you know, I really suck at time management, so.
Okay, that's putting it right out there.
That was in your title, so you know, I said that is me.
I didn't see the S word in there.
In my email, that's what it said.
Oh, translation. We're going to talk about that.
I'm Amy Frank, and I run the Sun Prairie Performing Arts Center at the high school. I live here in Sun Prairie. I have 3 kids. One's in college and 2 are in middle school, and I work crazy, unbelievable hours. That's different every single day, and so I feel like I'm running constantly and don't have a handle on anything.
All right.
How's that?
Sounded like what everybody's thinking.
I'm Lily Woodard. I also work for Allstate in Sun Prairie. Just kind of got out of college and moved into my career, so I feel like I'm stuck in my own head and can't leave work at work and keep home at home. Like it's just all one big blended mess. So hopefully that can be worked out.
All right, very good.
I'm Lindsay Chamberlain. I'm the 3rd person that's coming from the Titley agency. And I'm also an account manager there, as well as doing my own professional art, expressive portraits by Lindsay. So I guess I'm taking on some new things, and I just want to make sure I'm balancing it well and in the right manner to create my vision of what I want my life to be.
That's interesting. Not very uncommon today. People have their professional careers, but have also done LLCs or their own businesses on the side. Keeps adding to that.
I am Craig Vesley. I work with Affiliated Engineers. Came today hoping to get a better grasp on how to kind of keep everything at bay. I feel like I get pulled in a bunch of different directions, and then oftentimes my own personal goals and things just kind of get pushed to the side. So finding ways to continue my own growth and still keep work and life at home in a solid balance.
I'm Rochelle Warner. I work at Madison Area Technical College. I'm a current employment advisor, and we're practicing mindful meditation a lot at our work in place now. And so just trying to think about things like that. I'm really trying to regroup. You know, been in this career for a while, and I really enjoy it, but I feel it's kind of the person there is retired. I feel that way. You know, just kind of the same thing, striking a nice balance. And to be perfectly honest, I really don't get to attend a lot of these events for the Sun Prairie Chamber of Commerce. I paid this out of my own pocket, and when it was $3, I thought, this is very affordable. And I want to network with the people that I live in this community, so I want to get to know them.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Christy Winchell, I have Sunny Nutrition. We do healthy shakes, work with people on health and nutrition. And my goal is time management and organization. So I don't know if that's in the title, but I'm hoping it's somewhere in there.
Once, swear.
I'm Taylor Bowker. I work at First Choice Insurance down the road. We do individual both there. I also have a second job, and I go to school at Madison College. So I'm trying to balance all that. And then once I graduate, I hope to maybe freelance from home. I've heard it's hard to work from home and separate life too while you do that. So planning for the future as well.
7 years ago, I took, my name is Jim Casanova. 7 years ago, I took a real early retirement from American Family Insurance, IT manager, and I've been working 70 hours a week for years and years and years, 25 years. And I wanted something that was less and something I enjoyed, so I opened up Sweet Sounds Hearing Aids here in Sun Prairie. And I work half the hours, and I wish I'd have done it years ago, but I still don't have any time.
Oh!
So you gotta fix that.
I was thinking poster boy right here. I've solved it.
I filled it, well,
I had it.
But I filled it up with everything else that I don't, I should.
Yeah.
I'm Cheryl Namitz, also volunteer, but I also substitute teach with the district because I'm retired, and so it's kind of, but you still don't have enough time.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for being very open and candid and sharing your thoughts. That is a handful to solve in 90 minutes.
Yeah, you got $3 right there.
And so what I'm hopeful to do is we carve out this time to invest in ourselves. We may not solve all of the puzzle, but you'll walk away with some maybe different thoughts or viewpoints or angles on how to maybe tackle some of these issues. Because there, as you could hear, there's not a one-size-fits-all. It's all very different. There's a common theme or thread, but everybody's got their own unique experiences, their uniqueness of their environments they're in, family, things like that. And so, however, you might get some tidbits of things coming out of here that will be takeaways to help you kind of get moving in a direction. So, with that said, a couple of more guidelines. I'm not a rules guy, but thank you, Ann, for technology. Either turn it off or put away. And we'll be talking about that later, because that doesn't impact anything, right? But also, too, think of this as some time to invest in yourself and a working session. Let's get some takeaways here, one or two things. My fear as a speaker is that I turn into a 1 hour or 1 day seminar, and then everyone moves on to life afterwards. And so if we could take time afterwards to pause, reflect, and then act intentionally on one or two things, our time spent together will be beneficial. And so while we did introductions, I thought I would add a little more color to my background. So Ann introduced me here, and so why this guy, who's been in construction a long, long, long time, is going to talk to us about time management. And what can he bring to the table? And so as we reflect on ourselves today, I'm going to begin with, there are a handful of psychological white papers that you can go on the internet. And what most of them will tell you, and this could relate to you, is that we are who we are by age 7. Certainly experiences along the way kind of shape and can continue to mold, but the essence of who we are is really developed at age 7. So if you go back to age 7, everyone there? All right, I'm going to give you a quick timeline here. So at age 7, you now have some strengths that are emerging, some giftedness, some things you're passionate about, and you start to dream. I started to dream at age 7 to be a guardian angel. I also, to keep my parents on their toes, my other dream was to become a professional wrestler. I wanted to jump off the top ropes. And so you would say, okay, where's he going with this? Guardian angel, helping people. I wouldn't call myself in entertainment, but maybe the physical activity and the premise of entertainment was kind of brewing there. And so I fast forward to age 11. Everybody remember at age 11 thinking, boy, what do I want to be when I grow up? And now the entrepreneurial spirit starts to kick in. You start to see kids in the neighborhood selling lemonade or things like that, making their first buck. Well, at around age 11, I had the same idea, except I was going to differentiate. I was going to sell Kool-Aid. Yeah, flavors. For $1 a cup. And this was my chance to interact with people and have impact and all those other things. And I found after 1 hour, I was done doing it. Yep, I sold Kool-Aid. Yep, I added value, sometimes 2 cups. But the people came and then they went. I was on 16th Street in Milwaukee, one of the busiest streets in my neighborhood, and I had a lot of traffic, but it was transactions. People said hello, they got what they needed, and they went on, and it wasn't fulfilling. And so my dad asked how that all went, and I explained to him it wasn't it, but in a couple days I'll come up with something. I got to do something else. And so I decided 2 days later to start writing posters. And on those posters was a notice to the kids in the neighborhood that I would be holding training camps for baseball and football. And training camps would have all this curriculum on how to develop your skill set and things like that. And in a week I had about 10 kids in the neighborhood who had signed up for $1. I should have been smarter, you know, for $1. However, back then, you either made organized teams or you didn't. It wasn't everybody gets on the team. And so there were a lot of kids disappointed and kind of not fitting in and not maybe with the skill set developed. And so to me, that was a way to get them to contribute and maybe spend time on helping develop their skill sets. So I did that for the summer. I was off of school. And what was kind of cool is each day you saw impact in little incremental degrees that they were getting better skill set. And so by midsummer, I wanted to call some of those organized teams and say, would you scrimmage us? Which they eventually did. And you know, we got our butts kicked in early, but by the end of summer, we were competitive. And it was one of the most coolest feelings I've ever had, is to see kids with hope, with skill development, and feeling like a part of a team and contributing. That kind of went with me for quite some time. And so this guardian angel kind of approach was kicking in full speed at age 11. By the time I got to my teen years, I was enamored with wanting to be an architect. I would be watching TV with my family in the living room, laying on the floor, and I'd have the home magazine there and paper, and I would be drawing homes. Because I thought it would be cool to build those homes because that's where families resided. And so I went to Milwaukee Tech and Trade School and majored in architecture. It was one of the first vocational schools in Wisconsin back then, and back then is back then. A little bit old. And then I found myself in construction. That's how I kind of entered construction. So fast forward the last 20 years for Ahern, I was in the fire protection division, starting up new offices in new markets, just like I did at age 11. I didn't go post signs on the trees or the telephone poles, but I had to go recruit my teams. I had to find the people. Once I found them, I had to coach them up. Once I coached them up, teach them to be managers. Once they were managers, teach them to be leaders. And that was very, very fulfilling to me. Very, very fulfilling. And so as we work through this morning, and what this means to you, is as you're sorting out where to spend your time, I'm not so sure we'll solve all the concerns you had when we went around the room. However, it's relieved when you're spending time on things you're passionate about and what you were meant to be in the beginning. And so that's why I circle back here for you to kind of reflect on your own lives. Because at age 53, this past February, I decided to open my own business, entrepreneurial, but centered around helping others. I've spent my years building my career, and it's really escalated. It's been a dream come true. I would have never dreamed it all would have unfolded, but now I'm more interested in helping others build their careers, sort through their personal lives and families, and helping people add value to other people. And so at 53, you're hearing some of the same things at age 7, 11, and all that. Ooh, I see a lot of thinking there. So, let's go to next slide here. Where'd you go? Where did it go? Uh-oh. What the heck? It was up the whole time. Whoop. Backspace. All right. 168 hours. Where's that coming from? Where's it coming from? It's a what? Work week? Ooh, I hope not.
Total hours.
Total hours. 24 times 7. 168 hours. That's a lot of time in a week. How many of you been to a time management class in the last 24 months? Training session? Whoa, couple. What were the takeaways?
There's never enough time, I still feel. That's still the takeaway. And learning how to budget, you know, that's the important thing, learning how to budget time.
Budget time.
Yes.
Okay.
That's one of the takeaways.
All right.
Scheduling time for interruptions. I think we all get bombarded with people that are emailing or calling or have needs, and scheduling time in your day to understand that you won't be able to do everything you want, and you have to allow for that to happen, that chaos to enter your life.
Okay, so budgeting time, prioritizing time, scheduling time, working on time. All right, so I'm not a marketing genius, but I wasn't going to frame this and title this Unleashing the Power of Time Management in 2 hours. Get all the answers. Or 3 easy steps to time management. I could have went, for 1995, I have this magic wand, and when you hold it in the sunlight, it will calibrate your time. Or for the medical industry, I have a pill I could sell you. While I'm trying to make light of all that, there is no easy fix. The key word is easy. You've got to be very intentional. And so when you came out of your seminars, you probably were trying to be intentional about budgeting time and scheduling time. But if you think about it, as our character on the clock there, 168 hours, we all have equal amounts of time. 24 hours in a day. I have it. You have it. We all have it. And like he's trying to hold on, each second as I talk, there it went again. Can you manage it? There it went again. Manage it. Schedule it. Craig. Oh, there it went again. So the paradigm shift I'm going to offer today, and a new way of viewing things, is that this topic is marketed and branded in how to manage time, when really what I'm saying is, and there it went again. I don't think the answer is managing time. The answer is, who said that? Managing yourself. And if you manage yourself, you will find the time to do things that you want to spend time on, but it's highly intentional and it's an awareness. It's a different view of things. And so I want to leave you with that thought here. Also today, in the next 90 minutes, because it's a new thought, we have 52 cards in a deck. The black card that says no, let's put that in our back pocket. As we take a fresh look at things, let's find a way and just consider all the options. We tend to have those gremlins that talk to us all the time on our shoulder and tell us why something can't be done, or hey, you're bumping up against the comfort zone, get back here. We all have those talks in our head. And so let's keep that no card behind there. Let's put gremlin, get off. Put that gremlin in the back pocket. Okay? So we talked about managing ourselves instead of managing time. If done correctly, time can be your friend. Have you ever viewed time as your friend? No, it's this arch enemy. It's out of control. You can't do anything with it. It's bogging me down. It's stressing me out. Growing your capacity to achieve a lifestyle satisfaction, part of that is to be very intentional. Not only now self-aware, I got to manage myself, not time, but be very intentional about that. In the construction business, it is very intentional what they do. Also in the medical profession, also restaurants, also if you're a Pinterest fan and like Power Bites, you see that picture of something good, but there's a recipe you're looking for, which is very intentional about what has to be done to get to that picture. My father next week in Milwaukee is having major spinal surgery. It's going to take 10 to 11 hours. So and then we're going to have all these corrections. However, what does a surgeon do for a process? Very intentional process to get it in that 10-hour window. Same thing in construction. This building was built first. It was drawn. It was a rendering. It was a dream. With the premise that 2 years from now, we're going to have the building we're in today. However, that picture, that rendering, turned into very intentional activities. Specs were written. Drawings were designed for all facets, mechanicals, finishes, walls, layouts. Deadlines and schedules, by this time, when. And so when you talk about managing time in construction, I'm not being biased here, but boy, do you become experts at managing yourself to hit things on time that you can't see for 2 years. And you know what? Curveballs happen all the time because you don't control weather in construction. You don't control people getting sick. You don't control things back ordered, all those things. But guess what? You still got to deliver. Just like a surgeon. There's always surprises when you go in. Always. However, you got to deliver the end result. If you're making your power bites and get a little creative, you're going through the process and, I want to add this and this and this. Oh, curveballs again, it's changed up, but you know what you're delivering in the end. And so basically what I'm sharing with you is there's very intentionality among things. Look at a football game, whether it's Sun Prairie High School, the Packers or the Badgers. They are extremely intentional. Yep, I need to go 100 yards and I need to score a touchdown. We're going to do this, this, and this to score touchdowns. They prepare all week, a whole week for that game. That's 3 hours. Then they do what's called a huddle. Very intentional. Let's pause, rethink. Here's what we're going to do. And eventually, if we stay with the process, we're going to get those touchdowns or field goals. What we tend to do in our lives is take on things that come at us. We're reactive. Drop everything to go to the next thing. America's also got this instant gratification thing going on. Give it to me quick, give it to me now, and let's move on. If we can become self-aware and intentional, we'll find that we can increase our capacity to do more. The intentionality in the process is what I call reflective thinking. So that's what we're doing today. It's taking a pause. It's doing nothing. It's reacting to nothing. But taking time to look back and sort through what are all the things that are going on here. Where should I spend my time? Where do I need to spend my time? And how do I redirect it? Do we do huddles at all? Every day? Once a week? Once a month? So I'm suggesting in order to gain time, you got to pause the time and sort through things. And then lastly, just like New Year's resolutions, now you got to make it happen. And the way to make it happen is just like returning to who you are at age 7 or 11. If you are motivated by something or passionate about it, that ignites the flames of staying after it. Because what I can't get rid of for you today in any insight is, with everything going on in our lives, it is a grind to get through on some days. The grind is lessened if you have some instances of gratification and motivation. Ah, yes, I was able to spend time with my daughter this afternoon. Something meaningful will fan the flames. So what I would suggest is when you get a moment, is I would challenge you. So today's Thursday. Take a look back at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a typical 8-hour span, and just analyze that. Reflect. Did I maximize my time? Did I spend it wisely? Could I have done something differently to make better use of my time? And just think that through. That's all very different to each one of you. Okay? Making sense? Chris, you're deep in thought. Yeah? I want to know what's thinking there, what's going on in there. So ultimately, here's the premise, you know, just like the diagram here. Work-life balance, what's the solution? Well, I'm not so sure I like the word balance. Balance suggests, just like this diagram, that it's 50-50. A teeter-totter. Kids on each end, nope, it's balanced. It's right in the middle. Is that realistic today? Why is that?
Work requires more, family requires more.
Okay. Anybody else? Before I show my age? Technology. Technology has come into our lives to make our lives easier, right? I can remember myself, my father, friends around me. I got a late work day today. I'll be home at 6. Before all technology came. I can remember if I wanted to make a phone call, I went into the kitchen, grabbed the phone, and I could go only as far as that cord took me. What has technology done to us when now that phone is in our lap 24/7? How do you get space? How do you schedule? How do you budget with technology? So what I'm suggesting is, anybody else got any other examples of how technology really affects 50-50 balance?
Creates more distractions.
More distractions, yep. Business News Daily a couple years ago did a survey of people from age 25 to 55. And where do you spend your time? The largest portion of where people spent their time was 23 hours of the work week was for one thing: email, texting, social media sites. Out of all that, 8 hours of the 23 hours was email. I thought that was kind of odd. I thought it might be texting. And so how are we getting to all the things we want to do when we assume the position especially with people important to us? And I'm going to guess when we're struggling for work-life balance and trying to get satisfaction, it's because of the emotional aspect of we're not getting time to spend with things we love or with people we love. However, hold on a second. The bald eagle is the symbol of the U.S. I hope it doesn't get replaced. And so what I'm suggesting here is, let's reframe how we look at things, or we're going to continue to get stressed out. Let's look for work-life satisfaction. Don't call it balance. In fact, you won't hear me bring up the word balance anymore in the rest of the presentation. Because again, it gives the impression it's 50-50. And with technology today, it's not going to go away, because it'll continue to make our lives easier. We just got to understand what the implications are when we want to manage and balance things. Oh, there's that word. However, it's going to be different for everybody. Because the workaholic will say, oh no, I like 90-10's fine. That's good balance. However, I think like most of you, you're in 70-30, 60-40. And if all the things that are on our plates, like you mentioned in the opening, plus technology are there, maybe we can get satisfaction out of recalibrating. So can we get 70-30 to be 60-40? Can we make small incremental changes and then also change our priorities where we're spending time on things that really inspire and motivate us and have impact? Because again, when you do, that's kind of like refueling. The grind doesn't seem like the grind when you're getting those regular juices flowing. So again, there's not a one-size-fits-all. We are all wired differently. But take a look at what it might take to get that satisfaction balance. I don't think it's 50-50. That we could debate for the rest of the day. But I think I kind of outlined some of the things there that says, could the stress levels go down if you just understand that? So we talked about 50-50 being a realistic outcome. Oh, okay, this all sounds good, Ken, but things happen. I'm all set in the morning, showered, breakfast, ready to rock. I look through my day. All right, let's go. Oh, Ken, you don't understand. So many things come up that come out of nowhere that I wasn't even planning on. The key there is you're going to have curveballs every day. Things come up that I wasn't even planning on. Plan for those. Yesterday I was all set, had a couple meetings lined up with clients, and I was preparing for them in the morning, and all of a sudden I got an email that said from one, "Oop, I got to back out. I'm sick today, and so can we reschedule tomorrow?" Curveball number one. While I'm responding to that email, curveball number two, my wife comes downstairs and says, "Ken, the dishwasher's not working." Okay, I'll see what I can do there. We'll go the old-fashioned way though. I'll wash those dishes. So prioritizing, not the end of the world. We can do something else. So once I got through breakfast and washed the dishes, all of a sudden another curveball. The tax man calls and has questions and concerns. And as you know, April 15th is coming up. An hour later, my 401k manager, the transition from my professional career to the new funding that I'm using, there's some questions that need to be answered on that. And so what I'm getting at is curveballs come for all of us. And so don't go in, woe is me, I'm always caught in this trap. They're there. Just like in construction, just like as a surgeon, just like when you're baking or cooking. Well, I like my Power Bites, and so I like to make all the, and so there's curveball. Oh no, we don't have coconut oil? Now what? Yeah. And so I won't give away my secret sauce, but. And then setting boundaries. Oh, I can't, so much is coming at me, it changes. How do you set boundaries? More often than not, you do. So how many of you are with employers where you accrue vacation time? Pretty standard for full-time employees? For years, I used to pride myself at the end of the year in December, oh, I didn't use all my vacation this year. Yeah, why not, Ken? Well, you know, this came up, that came up. It's just tough to schedule. I got all these things going on. If I leave work, oh, everything piles up. And so I was glad I was able to use some of it, but I know I'm going to lose it all. That's how I lived every year. It almost became a badge of honor. I didn't use my vacation this year. Until I had, about 5 years ago, some health issues pile up where a doctor said, Ken, if you don't figure out how to take time for yourself, you won't be around to take care of others. And so then in early January, I would get my weeks of vacation, and I would, in that first week of January, pick weeks throughout the year, book it in, write it down, submit it. It's all used and emptied. It's there. One, a doctor said, Ken, get self-aware. You better do this. Two, I became intentional. All right, I'm going to get this in early so it's blocked out and everything else falls out around it. That's essentially framing and setting boundaries of things that are pretty important. Otherwise, I'll wait until I have time to do it. Then we get disappointed because it never happens. And so a lot of practical things I'm kind of bringing to play here because I want you to feel like these are things you can do. There's no earth-shattering things coming here, but it's a different way to look at things than maybe how time management and seminars gets marketed and branded and how we feel about it. All right, reflective thinking. I told you we would do some of that today, and you have some worksheets in front of you where we're going to spend some time here taking a look at ourselves and how we can calibrate our time. But essentially, what I want to talk about here is being intentional and setting boundaries. Getting it in the calendar. So I can tell you that there are people that recalibrate their time first thing in the morning, and you may all consciously or unconsciously do this, much like driving to work and how did I get there, but it's something I do. Okay, what's happening today? What do I need to take care of? What do I need to pack? What do I need to have with me? And then there are those at the end of the day that look back. And you say, well, geez, isn't that duplicating things? Why look back? They say true learning doesn't come from experience. True learning comes from evaluated experience. We all were learning machines and we're experts at this at one point in time. Except we build up so many experiences, we get a comfort zone and then we don't do it. What do I mean by learning machines and evaluated experience? Well, those of you who are parents will relate. You all were toddlers at one point in time and taking those first steps. Dad's over here, mom's over there in the living room setting you up. Okay, Kenny, come over here, come on. And then you'd start off and, and you got back up and you knew that independence was important, so you started again. What do you think is going on in those uhs? Whether you're learning to walk or ride a bike or to speak or what have you. What do you think is going on? Yep. Yeah, how did that feel? Basically walking, how did that feel? It's evaluated experience. We were learning machines. You still can be. But we have experiences now that's, yeah, you know what, I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, the exploratory nature and childhood mystique that we had kind of gets toned down based on our experiences and what we consciously believe in. And so, again, what we're naturally wired to do, it could be healthy for you to get this satisfaction gauge calibrated, to step back and evaluate. Most of us kind of do that at the end of the year, getting ready for resolutions. All right, what did we do this past year? What should I do differently moving forward? And then by January 19th, I think the statistics say, the resolutions start to go off the track. Why is that? Because just like a rendering for construction, or just like what the doctors tell us for an image as a result of the surgery, and just like that Pinterest picture, we see the end and get enamored with it. What we don't understand is there's a lot of steps to go into play to get to that picture, and that's not as fulfilling. But if you understand, if you stay with the steps and stay with the process, you'll get to the picture. And so this reflective thinking is maybe one of the most important things we can do, especially in society today where it's go, 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 and that mind just look for the pause. At the end of every month, I look ahead to the next month. So I looked at April. I blocked out all my workout trainings, just like I would my vacations. Boy, do they happen when you block that out. I also have professional commitments and personal commitments blocked out. It's territory that's sacred, it's not moving. A lot of it is selfish, and if you're wired to help others, being selfish feels very dirty. And we'll talk about that guilt barrier later. But try to plan ahead. Every Sunday night, I'm scribbling down notes of what's going to happen the week coming up, what didn't happen the past week, where is it prioritized, and things like that. You pause for 5-10 minutes. You don't need a lot of time, but just pause to recalibrate. I also think somebody mentioned mindfulness. Yep, and you're hearing that a lot today. I'm going to tell you something about mindfulness that could be very interesting to you too. Mindfulness really is reflective thinking, or just stop. Time out. Which is kind of funny too, because what was a time out when we were a kid? Punishment. And I was good at it. I was really good at it. Why do we think taking a time out to do nothing's a punishment today? I can't. I don't have time. That's not good for me. That's what mindfulness is. It's a time out. And it doesn't have to be a time out to think or to be busy again. And this mindfulness is coming into play here. I had an example about 4 weeks ago. My daughter Ashley, who's a junior at Sun Prairie High School, just started photography class. She is going bananas over photography. She got really excited that week and said, "Dad, I was able to rent the camera for the weekend. I'm going to go to the park and get my money shot." And I said, "Oh, really? Ash, you're pretty fired up about this stuff. I'd kind of be interested in what you're interested in." So I was, as a parent, you don't get too close. Dad, stay away. Mom, stay away. So I was kind of inching in, and I got the invite. "Okay, Dad, let's go. Saturday, 4 o'clock when I'm done with work at daycare." She said, "Pick me up and we'll go to Token Creek." It didn't take but 10 minutes for me to realize a couple of things. And here's what triggered it all. So the sun was out, coming down in the sky. There's a flagpole with the American flag. And the sun was shining behind it. And I couldn't believe, with that sunlight, how vibrant the colors red and blue and white were in that flag. As I was watching that flag, I kind of glanced and saw a hawk coming from the east towards the flag. And I thought, money shot, money shot, money shot. So I'm saying, "Ash, look at that." She gets all ready, and sure enough, that hawk just turns away and doesn't go past the flag. So no money shot. We continued down the path a little bit more. There's a little creek. Stopped on the bridge, leaned over, watched how the shadows of the trees with no leaves shined into the water. As the water went over the rocks, I heard the bubbling, calming effect. I looked up and saw a wastebasket container that the sun was shining on, and it was changing the color on the side of where the sun was to where the shade was. When I was done, 2 things emerged out of that. One was all my senses kicked in looking for the money shot, and all the busyness stopped. All the thinking, all the problem solving, all the to-do stopped, and I could recognize all those things. I also saw my daughter getting pretty juiced up about me getting juiced up and what it meant to her. And so afterwards, I said, "Ashley, you know what? That was a lot of fun. Thank you for inviting me. You're kind of a quiet gal, but when you reveal yourself, there's some interesting things in there. I want to know more what you're interested in because you were helpful to me today. You allowed me to notice all those things." And so mindfulness, or a form of it, is big time for refueling. Yeah, it's going to get marketed like crazy. There's mindfulness coloring books I saw at Barnes & Noble's. There's, meditation and yoga. I'm a big yoga guy, especially when I know my mind has been very active. And I ran to yoga yesterday. Time to pause. Developing a lot of content, a lot of things. A lot of curveballs came yesterday. A lot of problem solving. That 1 hour of yoga, which essentially is stop. Think about, it's stopping. So this can be pretty healthy to you. All right, before we get into the exercise, I have a YouTube video I want to show that'll frame our thinking for this exercise as we look to ourselves. And so, because I'm from the fire protection industry, of course it's about a volunteer firefighter. And it's about priorities, and sometimes the meaningless priorities could be the biggest ones. And so I thought it'd be a good video to kind of tee us up before we go into an exercise here, to frame some more paradigm shift thinking.
Back in New York, I am the head of development for a nonprofit called Robin Hood. When I'm not fighting poverty, I'm fighting fires as the assistant captain of a volunteer fire company. Now, in our town, where the volunteers supplement a highly skilled career staff, you have to get to the fire scene pretty early to get in on any action. I remember my first fire. I was the second volunteer on the scene, so there was a pretty good chance I was going to get in. But still, it was a real foot race against the other volunteers to get to the captain in charge to find out what our assignments would be. When I found the captain, he was having a very engaging conversation with the homeowner, who was surely having one of the worst days of her life. Here it was, the middle of the night. She was standing outside in the pouring rain, under an umbrella, in her pajamas, barefoot, while her house was in flames. The other volunteer who had arrived just before me, let's call him Lex Luthor, got to the captain first and was asked to go inside and save the homeowner's dog. The dog! Oh, I was stunned with jealousy. Here was some lawyer or money manager who for the rest of his life gets to tell people that he went into a burning building to save a living creature. Just because he beat me by 5 seconds. Well, I was next. The captain waved me over. I said, Bezos, I need you to go into the house. I need you to go upstairs, past the fire, and I need you to get this woman a pair of shoes. I swear. So, not exactly what I was hoping for, but off I went. Up the stairs, down the hall, past the real firefighters who were pretty much done putting out the fire at this point, into the master bedroom to get a pair of shoes. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I'm no hero. I carried my payload back downstairs where I met my nemesis and the precious dog by the front door. We took our treasures outside to the homeowner where, not surprisingly, his received much more attention than did mine. A few weeks later, the department received a letter from the homeowner thanking us for the valiant effort displayed in saving her home. The act of kindness she noted above all others, someone had even gotten her a pair of shoes. You know, in both my vocation at Robin Hood and my avocation as a volunteer firefighter, I am witness to acts of generosity and kindness on a monumental scale. But I'm also witness to acts of grace and courage on an individual basis. And you know what I've learned? They all matter. So as I look around this room at people who either have achieved or are on their way to achieving remarkable levels of success, I would offer this reminder. Don't wait. Don't wait until you make your first million to make a difference in somebody's life. If you have something to give it now. Serve food at a soup kitchen, clean up a neighborhood park, be a mentor. Not every day is going to offer us a chance to save somebody's life, but every day offers us an opportunity to affect one. So get in the game. Save the shoes. Thank you. Come back. Thank you.
There are worksheets on your table. It's called the Wheel of Life. And as you take a look at this diagram, It's scaled from 0 in the middle to 10, where you rate in each of these categories. And some categories might not pertain to you. You might want to cross them out and add some other ones as it tailors to you. But what you want to do is when you rate on the outside here is just put a little dash there. And as you go around to rate each one, then you're going to want to connect your wheel. And there's a diagram on the bottom here. And so the premise of this is to do a self-analysis or reflect back on the things you're challenged with today. If you can get a perfectly circled wheel, you can come up here for the next half hour and tell us how you're all doing that. If not, it'll be a great visual demonstration of where maybe you should start pointing some things in a direction and be more intentional about, because this is creating self-awareness that that's where the gap is. As you're doing this exercise, keep in mind of our firefighter here. Franklin Covey time management training, well, the premise of it is make sure when you're budgeting or scheduling time, get those big rocks. But I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty certain the way you feel about work-life satisfaction is in those little rocks. It's in the shoes. Those are the times when you're helping yourself and helping others. And I'm almost certain that's what makes life feel like a grind in this busy environment we're all trying to figure out. And so don't forget the shoes as you're doing a self-analysis. So if we could take a few minutes here, run through the diagram and see what your wheel looks like. Now that you were all introduced to each other, if you're kind of stuck or have questions or want to bounce ideas off of somebody, you have your networking partner around you if you're feeling comfortable or want to share thoughts. Or if you're kind of stuck and want to get nudged out, don't be shy to bounce something off somebody else. You're my guardian angel. All right, another minute or so.
What physical environment, what does that mean?
Physical environment. This is a pretty important piece of the pie. It's where we choose to spend our time. What environments do we choose to hang out in that gives us energy, support, encouragement? For me, one of those environments is I love CrossFit. Some might think, boy, at 53, what the heck are you doing? But the supportive nature of the group, the encouragement of the group, the achievement-orientated of the group, that gives me energy. It's not an energy taker. And so part of when you're trying to calibrate where you spend your time and where can I get my motivation and juice from, those energy takers can be. And is it maybe a view of an environment needs to change, or do I need to add an environment that helps support what I'm trying to do? And so that's what that all is there. Take another minute here to kind of wrap up. Okay, how are we doing?
Are you going to address when you block out time and you're saying it's sacred and you get curveballs? Would you?
Yep. Okay, everybody set? So now that you had time to pause and reflect and evaluate experiences, remember that's the best teacher? So what have we learned? And keep that mindset now. Because here's another key to making something happen and turning ideas into action is to declare it. A lot of studies have said if you write something down or tell someone what you intend to do, there's an accountability factor in there. You could also get an accountability partner along the way. There's that support and encouragement. Someone who can relate. Someone who's been there before. Someone who can help you guide through there. Look for those accountability partners. But in order to do that, it starts with pen to paper, which you just did. If you want to take it to another level, tell somebody about it. Hey, I was at the seminar this morning. It was pretty interesting. Or it wasn't. But could you want to hear out what I'm looking at here? Because this could be beneficial to you, and partners are helpful. Yeah, there's no question about that. Depending on who you are, a lot of this, and this could be a whole nother seminar, is knowing yourself. And so if you're somebody who really likes ideas and want to turn them into action, but that action part, the discipline of just taking it and going there, isn't part of who you are, that accountability partner who's really good at that discipline is a really good complementary partner. They say opposites attract, there's a reason. Two as a whole is much greater than two individual, and because it's complementary partners and the strengths that they bring to each other and things like that. And so don't underestimate that. Okay, number one, activity is not accomplishment. So being busy is not a badge of honor. I didn't use my vacation days because all those things came up, and that's kind of cool. Being productive is the goal. Are you being productive? If you're being busy, you're in the wrong ballpark. So to answer next bullet point here, to answer some of those questions, as you're working through your tasks of the to-dos and the busyness, is it something I'm required to do? What is the return on that to me? And in turn, here's the emotional part, or the motivational part, that fans the flame of discipline to grind. What's the reward out of that? Ashley, I am going to go on your next photography trip because the reward was I got to hang out with you and understand your interests. In a time where life goes so quickly with children, I don't know how fast it goes 0 to 18, but why when we were 0 to 18 that went so slow? We even bragged about being older. I'm not 6.5, I'm 7. We want time to go faster. 16, get me there now. But to us, it seemed like it took forever. You wanted to accelerate it. And so with our kids, don't let that time pass so quickly where, oh, geez, I wish I would have spent time going to photography, or I wish I would have used all that vacation time, because that time goes faster than you can ever think. And those of you with children know that. Bringing things to order. A lot of times as you're trying to sort through some of the things you want to get satisfaction from, a lot of times there's trade-offs. So sometimes you might have to give up something to get something. And it doesn't mean it totally, but what should I kind of put on the sideline next week or next month so that I can get this in? Actually, ask yourself every day, every week, every month, what's important now? And that answer is different for everyone. And I will tell you, if you ask it often enough to yourself, it's different almost every time. Because new things emerge, right? Oh, the new thing emerged now. How do I? And so here's to address some of that. Curveballs happen every day. We talked about that. Oh, something's got a bump now. So when you're going back to required return and reward, it bumps, but don't let it disappear in oblivion. Or instead of turning in ideas into action, you become all talk and no action. And then you don't become credible to yourself and to others. So maybe bump and then look to reschedule. So if my fitness schedule gets disrupted because of travel plans or things like that when I plan it a month ahead, I look then when it gets bumped to where does it go somewhere else. It doesn't get eliminated. It can't. Those are part of my priorities. I need to stay healthy. Lastly, and probably biggest, what's your stop doing list? What gives you energy? What takes your energy? That's part of this trade-off too, this calibration. And I'm not going to suggest, oh, I got to pull out my life wheel and see what direction I'm going here now and bring that out every day. No, 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 no. It might be quarterly, it might be biannually, it might be annually. But I would suggest that whenever you're feeling in a rut or out of kilter, take the pause, step back, and evaluate your experience, because you'll learn something. Oh, I like this one. I just had to. You know, I have to have my funny stuff in here. Those gremlins on your shoulder are talking to you every day. Keep them in check. Remind yourself all the good things that are happening. So we can get enamored with how busy we are and we're not getting all these things, but stop to recognize what you are getting to and where you're having impact. Because human nature is to tend to listen to the gremlin. And whatever you do, watch out for this response. I'm too busy. To yourself or to others. Because whenever someone has responded to you, I'm too busy, how did that translate?
Get out of your face.
Kinda.
Not important.
Bingo. It's not important. So as you look for where's the return on my time, what's the reward, don't ever, or try to avoid, telling yourself, I'm too busy for myself, because you're telling yourself you're not important. Watch out to others, especially family members. I'm too busy translates very differently. It's the same thing with I don't have time. We always find time to do the things we enjoy doing. So the key is the things we don't enjoy doing, put them on the stop list or light a fire under it. It's got to be something you're passionate about or you're going to always find I'm too busy or don't have time for it. So as you do this, where I challenge you about take a look at a typical 8-hour time frame this past week, some of those answers might come into play. Where you choose to spend your time is what you enjoy doing or not doing. But to get fulfilled, put it on the stop doing list. There's got to be some stop doings. Lastly, or getting towards the end here, and then we'll go to questions here. It's an effort and benefit analysis. Where's the greatest return on your time in summary? What are you passionate about? What's purposeful? What's meaningful to you? and move towards making sure the benefit and the effort is equal there. Sometimes this is going to be a change of habit. So statistics say, especially in martial arts and fitness training and all that, human behavior, it takes X amount of times to create a habit. There's a multiplying factor to unlearn a habit and relearn new. How many times? So if it takes 35 times to create one habit, what would be the factor you think to unlearn that habit and relearn a new one? Triple, double, times 10. Human behavior analysis say to unlearn and relearn times 10. There's your answer why New Year's resolutions are well intended, but die by January 19th. And again, I'm trying to create awareness, so if you know about this, you are able to better understand it, but also then be intentional about things. It's creating your consciousness or awareness. That's why as learning machines, it didn't take us times 10 to walk. Didn't take us times 10 to ride a bike. Those are all new experiences. So that's why sorting through the clutter is not an easy exercise, and either is time management or lifestyle of satisfaction. Because we got to change behaviors and habits. And it's not time who's the enemy. We are. We talked about slowing down an active mind through yoga or photography. For those of you who are driven to help others, when you start to change or be selfish or put something or someone on the to-don't list, ooh, here comes Gremlin again up here. What are you doing? They're watching you. Do you know what they're thinking about you? Yep, those self-talks, self-beliefs. Understand they're there. That's the comfort zone talking to you. When you start bumping up against your comfort zone and changing something up out of a routine, a habit, or behavior, be aware of managing yourself and start to think about the benefits in addition to why not. Also, too, if you have a servant mentality and you're very accommodating in nature, yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yes, I'll volunteer. Yes, I'll be there at the family event on Saturday. Yes, 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 yes. And then all of a sudden, whoo! Sometimes we have to be good at saying no. And what's the trade-off? What's the reward? What's the return? What's the benefit? Again, just trying to give you some thoughts here as you navigate through all this stuff. And then lastly, with spring coming up, so we had snowflakes outside, so, oh, well, there it is again. But anyway, happy thoughts. Here's where we're going pretty soon. April showers and snow flurries bring May flowers. All of this, one, is raising awareness and consciousness, then being intentional, declaring. And don't just declare once, you're going to have to declare and sort through all the time. Because here's the benefit to you. If you can not only improve your happiness and satisfaction levels, when you're making better use of your time, you're returning greater value to those around you as well, because it's quality time. So you're impacting yourself and those around you closely if you can sort through some of these things. And so as you look at your wheel today, this is where you stand today. Think about where I want to go now. Where is that wheel kind of indented? What things could I do to get there? And how do I start? And when do I start? And so the second page of the handout is an action plan. So with the last few minutes here, I'd ask you to take a look at your wheel. And so when we break the huddle here today, we will intentionally leave with a couple of thoughts and ideas on how we'll better round our wheel. So if you could take a few minutes there. You know, when we try to be intentional, there are several assumption gaps we make when we want to start intentionality. Some of them can be, it's just not the right time. Or I got other things going on and so this has got to wait. Or that could be a little dicey, we'll put that on the back burner. The best time to start with intentionality is now. Again, that gremlin on the side of self-doubt and challenging your comfort zone will start talking to you again. I would suggest that you try to pick today or tomorrow to start. So with that note, does anyone want to take another level of declaration by sharing with us one item that you're going to work on here when we break the session? Anyone? Oh, go ahead.
So for like a personal fun thing, I've always wanted to get my motorcycle license. So I have a motorcycle now because my boyfriend has two. So I hope next Tuesday I'm going to take my test for it.
Very good. So while you're wanting to challenge that gremlin there who's saying, I hope next Tuesday, this one over here, I will next Tuesday. There you go. Ready? Say it again.
I will do it.
There you go. Nice job. Anybody else? Yep, go ahead.
I used to work out all the time, and I've gotten lazy. So I'm going to work out 3 times a week starting Monday.
Okay.
I'm going to do it.
All right. And so for you, what's the flame? What's the why? What's the motivation? Pardon?
To look good.
All right.
Florida in June.
Florida in June.
Healthy and feel good. I just
Yep.
always feel so much better when I work out. You know, endorphins get flowing.
So motivation gets us going. Discipline keeps us growing.
Gotta stick with it.
Yep. And so for you, what's the flame? Motorcycle flame.
I've always ridden motorcycles like been a passenger, and I got a new bike and it's kind of uncomfortable, like my legs fall asleep. So if I can drive myself, then I won't be in pain.
All right. But see, the cool things is we're looking at how we can help ourselves. That's not a bad thing. That's not selfish. That's healthy. Anybody else? Yep.
My house is a mess. It's cluttered, it's cluttered, it's cluttered, and I'm going to start this afternoon getting that organized and giving myself some space to be.
All right, way to jump in there.
Yeah.
And the flame?
Just not, I don't know how to even explain it, but that clutter just holds me down.
Okay.
It's depressing.
All right. Yeah, I'm a perfectionist. I get anxious when things are cluttered up. Yep.
I'll add to that.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm a mother of a 4-year-old, so I don't have a lot of time to put away all my laundry. So with my daughter always being around, I decided that I'm going to have her help me fold the laundry instead of me shooing her away. So then I'm spending time with her and getting my laundry done.
Bingo. So that's the flame.
Yep.
I get to spend family time and then we accomplish some things.
Yep.
And so I would just have a suggestion. If you want buy-in when you are applying change for yourself that might affect others, make sure when you frame it, you're saying it in a way that benefits them. And buy-in becomes easier. So while it's about you, when you're talking to the receiver and looking for buy-in, it's about them. Anybody else? That's good. Okay.
I'm going to piggyback off of your thing involving family because I love I love the theory of evaluative experiences. So many times I feel like I'm not learning and I'm just kind of repeating the same mistakes that I make. So I want to start reflecting on my day, and I'm going to do that during family dinner time and role model that for my kids and encourage them to do so.
I really like that. By the way, you saved me from that cord and I tripped over the chair.
Sorry. It's just bothering me.
So keywords there. I want to take some of the, so modeling. You know what modeling is? Especially as a parent. What is being a parent? One of the things being a parent.
Doing what you are hoping other people, you see other people wanting to do, needing to do, so you're doing it by example. You're leading by example.
Bingo. Parenting is leadership. We all kind of equate leadership as it's a title or a position that you have to hold, and then you're the leader because you've been appointed and all that. But we are in leadership roles all over the place. We just don't even know it, and one of them is being a parent. One of the keys of leadership, so when you, and this is a different seminar I have, but one of the keys to leadership essentially is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. The way to influence is to model. And so I like the word modeling. And I really like how you lit the flame. Because not only is this for your benefit to recalibrate and all that, but the passion is I'm going to pass this along in a modeling way to my family. And now you're impacting others. That's pretty cool. Okay, our time is up. Here it is. Times 10. You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of success is found in the routine. Key word, change, times 10. Stay after it and you'll get it. But make sure it's got a flame to fan. Thank you very much. I have some brochures and cards in the back. I do career coaching, lifestyle coaching for people who are kind of in a rut and looking to find clarity to sort their way, whether it's personally or professionally. And I do speaking seminars on leadership, and so that's my quick 15-second commercial. But thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed the candidness. I enjoyed the receptive nature of how you embrace doing the exercise and thinking through things, very engaged. But here's where the most important thing is to me as you leave today. Please don't let me be a 90-minute seminar that's forgotten tomorrow. Let's go act today. Because again, the benefit is for you and those around you. Thank you. And you had a...
Yeah, just a quick reminder, and thank you, Kim. Wonderful presentation. Very nice. Please fill out your your evaluations. You can just leave them at your desk and hand it to Cheryl or I on the way out. And help yourself.